Admiral Kira Chen stood motionless on the bridge of the EDS Vigilant, the flagship of Earth's defense fleet. The massive view screen before her displayed nothing but the usual stars, planets, and the occasional satellite. It was supposed to be a routine patrol, a show of force to reassure Earth's colonies that the defense fleet remained vigilant against potential threats, both known and unknown. "Admiral, we're detecting an anomaly at the edge of our scanning range," reported Lieutenant Commander Marcus Wong, his eyes fixed on his console. "It's not registering correctly." Chen moved closer, her crisp uniform rustling slightly as she leaned over Wong's shoulder. "Define not registering correctly, Commander." Wong's fingers danced across his console. "It's moving at speeds our systems can't properly calculate. The signature keeps phasing in and out, like it's here and not here simultaneously." Chen straightened, her face betraying nothing of the concern building within her. 20 years in Earth's defense fleet had taught her that anomalies rarely brought good news. "Put it on the main screen. Maximum enhancement." The view screen flickered, zooming in on a distant section of space. At first, there was nothing, just the eternal void. Then a flicker, a shadow against the stars. It moved unlike anything Chen had ever seen, not in smooth motion, but in a series of rapid jumps, as if teleporting short distances. "What the hell is that?" whispered Captain Rivera from her right. "Unknown, sir," replied Wong. "But it's approaching our position. Current velocity exceeds any known propulsion system by a factor of. The computer can't even calculate it." Chen felt her pulse quicken, but kept her voice steady. "Alert all ships in the fleet. Battle stations. Full defensive posture, but weapon systems remain offline until my command." The bridge erupted into activity. Officers called out status reports, and alert signals pulsed along the edge of the view screen. Chen stood unmoved, watching as the anomaly grew closer, its outline becoming clearer. It was a ship. At least, it appeared to be. Shaped like an elongated teardrop, its surface seemed to ripple and shimmer, as if the metal itself was fluid. There were no visible engines, no weapon ports, nothing that would identify it as a vessel designed by any known species. "Distance," Chen demanded. "Hard to calculate." "Admiral, it seems to be everywhere and nowhere at once. Best estimate, 500,000 kilometers and closing rapidly." Chen's mind raced through their options. The 5 ships of her fleet were the most advanced Earth had built, equipped with the latest quantum drive engines and phase shift shields. But against this thing that defied physics itself, she feared they might as well be sailing wooden ships against a nuclear submarine. "Open all communication channels. Broadcast in all known formats and frequencies." The communications officer nodded. "Broadcasting now, Admiral." Chen straightened her uniform and faced the view screen directly. "This is Admiral Kira Chen of the Earth Defense Fleet. You have entered restricted space. Please identify yourself and state your intentions." Silence answered. The alien vessel continued its approach, each movement seeming to bend the space around it. No response. "Admiral." Chen nodded once. "Keep broadcasting. Add the first contact protocol messages." The ship was now clearly visible on the screen, a massive construct almost twice the size of the Vigilant. Its surface seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, creating an impression of a ship-shaped hole in space itself. "Admiral." Wong's voice was tense. "It's slowing down." Indeed, the vessel was decelerating at a rate that should have torn it apart. Within seconds, it had matched the fleet's orbit perfectly, positioning itself exactly 10,000 kilometers ahead of the Vigilant. "Still no response to our hails," reported the communications officer. Chen watched the screen, her mind calculating possibilities. If it were hostile, it could have attacked already. Its technology was clearly superior. That much was obvious from its method of travel alone. "Admiral, we're detecting an energy buildup within the vessel," Wong reported urgently. "Shields up. Prepare for evasive maneuvers," Chen ordered. But before the fleet could react, a pulse of energy, Not a weapon blast, but something else entirely, washed over them. Every system on the Vigilant flickered momentarily, screens going dark before rebooting. "Status report," Chen demanded. "All systems operational, Admiral," reported the chief engineer over the comm. "But something's different. The alien ship, it's scanning us. I can feel the systems responding to external queries." Chen felt ice in her veins. This wasn't just a scan. It was a complete infiltration of their computer systems, something their most advanced firewalls should have prevented. "Disconnect all non-essential systems. Go to isolated mode," she ordered. Too late. The view screen changed without command, displaying symbols and equations that scrolled too quickly for human eyes to follow. "What is this?" Rivera asked, staring at the screen. Wang studied his console. It's communicating, Admiral, but not in language. These are mathematical formulas, physics equations. Some I recognize, others are beyond anything in our databases." Chen understood. This wasn't a simple greeting. It was a test. The alien vessel was establishing whether they were intelligent enough to be worth communicating with. "Run the equations through our systems, solve what we can, and acknowledge receipt of the rest." The science team worked frantically, feeding responses back to the alien vessel. Minutes passed in tense silence as the exchange continued. Finally, the screen cleared, replaced by a single message in perfect English. "Primitive, but adequate. Prepare for Sion and Tahiti." Chen felt her crew's eyes on her. "Prepare how?" she muttered. Her answer came immediately. The alien vessel seemed to shimmer, then split, not in a destructive way, but reproducing itself perfectly. Where one ship had been, now 5 identical vessels hovered, one positioned in front of each ship in the Earth fleet. "They just copied themselves," Rivera whispered in awe. "Admiral, how is that possible?" Chen had no answer. Nothing in human science could explain what they were witnessing. A new message appeared. "Your vessels will be temporarily modified. Do not resist." "Admiral." Wang looked to Chen for instructions. Ken weighed their options. Fighting was futile. Running was impossible. Trust was all they had left. "Stand down. Let them proceed." Energy tendrils extended from each alien vessel, wrapping around the human ships like glowing fingers. The Vigilant shuddered as systems throughout the ship activated without command. Screens flashed with data too complex to comprehend. "Admiral, our engines are changing," reported the chief engineer, his voice filled with disbelief. "The molecular structure is being rearranged. It's becoming. I don't even have words for what it's becoming." The process lasted 17 minutes exactly. When it finished, the energy tendrils retreated, and the 5 alien vessels merged back into one. "System status," Chen demanded. "Everything is operational, Admiral," Wang replied, astonishment evident in his voice. "But better. Power efficiency up 300%. Sensors range extended by a factor of 10. And our engines, there's something else entirely now." A final message appeared on the screen. "UYLFOLO. UHAVBEN chosen." The alien vessel began to move again, accelerating away from Earth at incredible speed. "Admiral." Rivera looked to Chen. "Orders." Chen stared at the retreating alien ship. Humanity had just been handed technology they couldn't possibly understand by a species that hadn't bothered with formal introductions. There was only one logical response. "Plot an intercept course. Let's find out why we've been chosen." The Vigilant's new engines hummed to life, propelling the ship forward with a smoothness that belied the incredible acceleration. The stars on the view screen began to blur. As Earth faded behind them, a new message appeared. "Humanity, AA's qualities, we require your CHAOs, your UNPRETICTA biology. You think different. The TONCNSS US 3 ATNs all life. You boil he'll pus very ikiet. Chen exchanged glances with her officers. The consensus. What consensus? The answer came immediately. The galactic mind. The unity that consumes diversity. It comes for your world next. You AKVB in hidden. Now you are needed. Understanding dawned on Chen. They weren't being invaded. They were being recruited. Admiral, Wang's voice was quiet. I'm detecting hundreds, no, thousands, of similar vessels gathering at coordinates beyond the Kuiper Belt. This isn't just a ship. It's an armada. Chen nodded slowly, the weight of humanity's future settling on her shoulders. Whatever this consensus was, it threatened Earth. And these beings, whoever or whatever they were, had chosen humans as allies. Send a message to Earth Command, she ordered. Tell them first contact has been made, and we've been invited to join a war we didn't know existed. As the Vigilant accelerated to impossible speeds, following the alien vessel into the unknown, Chen couldn't help but wonder if humanity had just been saved from extinction or drafted into a conflict beyond their comprehension. Either way, there was no turning back now. The Emergency Council chamber beneath Geneva hadn't been used since the resource wars of the 2080s. Now it hummed with tension as world leaders, military commanders, and scientific experts argued over the transmission from Admiral Chen. It's a trap, insisted General Xavier Okafor, his fist pounding the table. We've lost contact with our most advanced fleet, and you want us to believe they've been recruited by some alien force. Secretary General Amara Lin remained composed, though the dark circles under her eyes betrayed her exhaustion. The data package Admiral Chen sent is unlike anything our scientists have ever seen. The technology alone is centuries beyond our own, which is precisely why we should be concerned, countered Okafor. These aliens modify our ships without permission. They've essentially kidnapped our personnel. Dr. Eliza Sharma, head of Earth's Xenoscience Division, cleared her throat. With respect, General, I've analyzed the communication patterns. If these beings wanted to harm us, they could have done so without the elaborate show. The equations they shared. They're offering us knowledge, not threats. The debate continued, voices rising and falling as Earth's leadership grappled with humanity's new reality. In a corner of the chamber, watching silently, stood Commander James Harper, Chen's second-in-command, who had been planetside when the Vigilant encountered the alien vessel. Commander Harper, Secretary General Lin finally addressed him directly. You know Admiral Chen better than anyone. What's your assessment? Harper straightened, aware of all eyes turning to him. Admiral Chen is the most cautious, methodical officer I've ever served under. If she chose to follow that ship, she had good reason. He paused. But I also know she'd want us prepared for all possibilities. Lin nodded slowly. What do you propose? Let me take the prototype, Harper said. The Spectre. Murmurs erupted around the table. The Spectre was Earth's best-kept secret, a stealth vessel built using recovered alien technology from a crash site decades earlier. Its systems were primitive compared to the current fleet, but operated on principles entirely different from standard human technology. That ship is untested, Okafor objected. No, Harper corrected. It's untested in combat. We've run the simulations. It's ready. Lin studied him carefully. And how would one experimental ship help against a force that could duplicate itself at will? Harper smiled slightly. Because sometimes older technology has advantages. The aliens enhanced our modern ships because they could interface with them. The Spectre runs on hybrid systems they might not recognize or be able to interact with as easily. Dr. Sharma nodded enthusiastically. He's right. It's like trying to hack a quantum computer using a system designed for digital computing. The architecture is so different that standard methods won't work. After hours of further debate, the decision was made. Harper would take the Spectre and a volunteer crew to follow the Admiral's last known trajectory. 3 days later, the Spectre slipped away from Earth's orbital shipyard, its unusual hull design absorbing, rather than reflecting scanning signals. Inside, Harper and his crew of 12 scientists, engineers, and special forces operators prepared for a journey into the unknown. Activating the gravitic drive, announced Lieutenant Sophia Diaz, the ship's pilot. Conventional engines offline. Unlike the standard engines used by Earth's fleet, the Spectre's propulsion system manipulated gravity itself, creating a downhill slope in space-time that the ship perpetually fell along. It was inefficient by modern standards, but operated on principles that might be unfamiliar to the aliens who had taken an interest in Earth. Set course for the Kuiper Belt coordinates, Harper ordered. Maximum stealth protocols. The Spectre accelerated silently, sliding through space like a shadow. Its speed was nothing compared to what the enhanced fleet could now achieve, but Harper was counting on surprise rather than power. It took the Spectre 17 hours to reach the coordinates where the alien armada had been detected. When they arrived, Harper ordered all systems to minimum power, drifting on momentum alone as they scanned the region. "Commander," whispered Diaz, her eyes wide. "I'm detecting. I don't even know how to describe it." Harper moved to her station, staring at the sensor display. What at first appeared to be a massive nebula resolved into millions of individual ships, arranged in a perfect sphere. At the center floated what could only be described as a space station, if a space station could be the size of Earth's moon. "Active scanning would give us away," Harper murmured. "Passive sensors only. Let's listen." Dr. Rai Tanaka, the xenolinguist, monitored the communication frequencies. "They're transmitting something, Commander. It's not like the mathematical language they used with Admiral Chen. This is different. Can you decipher it?" Tanaka shook his head. "Not fully, but I'm detecting patterns. It's not just communication, it's coordination. These ships are linked somehow, operating almost as a single organism." Harper considered this information. "Where's the Vigilant? Can we locate our fleet?" Lieutenant Park, on the long-range sensors, pointed to a section of the display. "I think they're here, Commander. 5 ships matching our fleet's configuration, but the energy signatures are all wrong. They'd been completely transformed." "Set an intercept course," Harper ordered. "Minimal power. Let us drift as much as possible." As the Spectre crept closer to the transformed Earth vessels, the crew watched in amazed silence. The sleek hulls of Earth's most advanced warships now rippled with the same fluid metal appearance as the alien craft. Energy patterns flowed across their surfaces like bioluminescent currents in a dark ocean. "I'm picking up human life signs," Park reported. "Our people are still aboard." Harper nodded, relief washing through him. "Open a secure, tight-beam communication channel. Admiral Chen's personal frequency." Moments passed in tense silence. Then, the communication screen flickered to life, showing Admiral Chen's face. She appeared unchanged physically, but there was something different in her eyes, a depth of knowledge that hadn't been there before. "Commander Harper," she said, not sounding surprised at all. "I wondered when Earth would send someone." "Admiral," Harper acknowledged. "Are you and the crew safe?" Chen's lips quirked in what might have been amusement. "Safe? Yes. The same. No. We've learned so much, James. Things that change everything we thought we knew about the universe. The aliens. They call themselves the diaspora," Chen interrupted. "They're not a species, Commander. They're refugees, the last free minds of 1,000 different civilizations." Harper frowned. "Free from what?" "The consensus." Chen's expression darkened. "Imagine a hive mind that spans galaxies, Commander. A collective consciousness that absorbs entire species, erasing individuality in favor of perfect unity. The diaspora are those who escaped assimilation." Harper felt cold dread settling in his stomach. "And they've recruited us to fight this consensus." Chen shook her head. "Not to fight it directly. That would be suicide. The consensus is too vast, too powerful. But to disrupt it, that's where humanity comes in. I don't understand. The consensus operates on logic, on predictability, Chen explained. Every species it has assimilated thinks in patterns it understands. But humans, she smiled now. Humans are chaos embodied. We make intuitive leaps. We believe in things without evidence. We create art that serves no practical purpose. Our minds work differently. Understanding dawned on Harper. They want us because we're unpredictable. Precisely. The diaspora have technology beyond our comprehension, but they've become too similar to the consensus in how they think. They need our creativity, our irrationality, our ability to make decisions that defy logic. Harper considered this information carefully. And they couldn't just ask. They had to kidnap our fleet. They tried asking other species before, Chen said grimly. Those species debated, analyzed, calculated risks, and while they deliberated, the consensus found them. The diaspora couldn't take that chance with us. A new voice interrupted their conversation, not from the communication system, but somehow inside the specter itself. Your vessel is HFY orient. Harper spun around, but there was no one there. The voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. Commander, Diaz whispered urgently. Something's scanning us, but I can't block it. It's not using any technology I recognize. Your ship uses principles from the third evolution. Crude, but effective. Interesting. Chen's voice came through the comm again. That's one of the diaspora architects. They're curious about your ship, Commander. It doesn't match the patterns they expected. Harper addressed the empty air. We built it using technology we found. We don't fully understand it ourselves. Adaptation without comprehension. Implementation without theory. Typical human approach. Inefficient, unpredictable, valuable. A holographic figure materialized on the Spectre's bridge, a being composed of what looked like flowing liquid crystal, vaguely humanoid but constantly shifting form. We AAVEVALUATED, your species, for CVNTEN of your years. You are UNLIQE, among SENTINTs, the AAVENCOUNTRED. You embrace CONTRED. You cherish individuality, yet form COLDCTIVs. You value logicy, yet ho elodo eat mimochuan. The CONSENSUS KNOTPREDICTU. Harper stood his ground, facing the alien entity. So what exactly do you want from us? Your minds, your CAKOs, your creativity. The CONSENSUS APROCGEs, this CCCR. It will find Earth, EVNQL. When IDO is, it must influence or something. It cannot EAs ILOAS assimilate. Admiral Chen's voice softened. They want to help us prepare, Commander. Not just with technology, but with new ways of thinking. A partnership. Harper looked at the alien hologram, then back at Chen on the screen. And you believe them. I've seen what the consensus does to worlds it assimilates, Chen replied, her voice tight with emotion. I've witnessed memories spanning millennia. Yes, Commander, I believe them. The holographic being flickered. Your prototype vessel. Primitive, yet innovative. This approach, combining technologies, you do not fully appear and suo and fuses, our CANNING systems. It would design an ILARLYCO and fuse the CONSANSUS. Harper blinked in surprise. You're saying our less advanced technology is actually an advantage. Correct. The TONCNZUS XPCT is as logid HAL progression of TC Your species GUMP's pathes combines incompatible systems. Theory ATEs HFY Chronicles in Ingenuity. This is valuable. A new image appeared beside the hologram, a visualization of space with a massive, web-like structure spreading across multiple galaxies, pulsing with sinister energy. The CONSENCUS. It approaches 3 of your years until DTTTION RNG, 5 until potential seat. We must prepare. Harper looked at his crew, seeing the mix of fear and wonder on their faces. What choice did humanity really have? If this consensus was real, Earth needed allies. I'll need to consult with Earth's leadership, Harper said finally. Of course. Individual choice. Another human trait we value. We will wait. But now too long. Time is limited. The hologram disappeared, leaving the bridge of the Spectre in silence. Admiral Chen smiled from the communication screen. For what it's worth, Commander, I recommend we accept their offer. Humanity has always prided itself on adaptability. Now we need to adapt faster than ever before. Harper nodded slowly. I'll deliver your recommendation, Admiral. As the Spectre prepared to return to Earth, Harper gazed out at the vast armada of diaspora ships. Humanity had always wondered if they were alone in the universe, imagining both benevolent allies and conquering invaders. The reality, as usual, was more complex than anyone had predicted. They weren't being conquered. They weren't being saved. They were being valued for all the chaotic, unpredictable qualities that made them human. The fate of Earth, perhaps of all individual consciousness in the galaxy, now rested not on humanity's technology or military might, but on their fundamental uniqueness, their illogical, irrational, wonderfully unpredictable human nature. As the Spectre turned toward home, Harper couldn't help but smile at the irony. Humanity's greatest weakness had just become their greatest strength.